Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to Adam McKola TV. I am Adam. This is the preview ahead of Derby against Manchester United. Wayne Rooney's Derby against Manchester United. Yes, Wayne Rooney playing against his former club. Obviously, he went to Everton, played against us for Everton. He's been at DC United since then, but now he's at Derby County, trying to help Derby County make a late playoff push in the Championship. But he's coming up against Manchester United, looking to help his new club pull off a shock against the club that he's record goal scorer for, and he managed to bag every single trophy for as well. When I say Premier League, when I say FA Cup, when I say League Cup, Champions League, Club World Cup, Europa League, Charity Shield, he won the absolute lot for Manchester United, and I'm sure Wayne Rooney's song is going to be belting out of that away end at Pride Park on Thursday night. As Manchester United try to get through in the FA Cup. It's an interesting tie ahead, and it's made more interesting by the fact that Manchester United have got to play against City on Sunday. So between Thursday and Sunday, we've got 2 days, obviously. The week's not changed. We've obviously got Friday, which will be a recovery day for the players, and Saturday, which will probably be a light training session and preparation for the game on Sunday. So we have gone into this game, which is a huge opportunity for United to progress in a cup competition and hopefully get a step closer to winning a trophy this season. But with one eye potentially on that Manchester derby and on closing the gap to Chelsea, because we are within touch and reach of them. Now it's frustrating. We've seen that graphic in the Weekly United that I put up and United Arena tweeted. A stat about United and how many times we've dropped points when Chelsea have dropped points. I think it's like 8 or 9 times. It's ridiculous. We should be comfortably in that top 4 by now, but we're not, and the carrot's still being dangled there. But the problem is we've got a very thin squad, although most of our players are close to returning. There's only Rashford that's out. Paul Pogba's back in Carrington this week, so hopefully he's closer to a return, but Rashford and Lee Grant are the only ones that are really missing at the moment, because Pogba is back at Carrington, back in training and getting ready to come back into the team in the next week or two. So we are nearing a fully fit squad, with 1 or 2 returning from injuries, and hopefully ready to play soon. And that's obviously great for us. But when you look at it, you think Europa League, chance to win a trophy and get Champions League in one. Obviously, the FA Cup's a trophy, top 4's Champions League. You can get both of those in one trophy. But that's probably the most difficult one to win, albeit there are some very strong teams left in the FA Cup at the moment. That's probably the most difficult one to win. But there's no reason why we can't fight on all 3 fronts at the moment. We just have to balance the squad well and balance it at the right times. And I think Ollie did that okay. When you look at the way we went into the Club Brugge game, then we beat Watford. Obviously that disappointing draw against Everton, but it was a half decent good result as well. So we have been balancing the squad well since the return from the winter break. Our results have showed sign of improvement, but we know one bad result and the whole season could spin out of control again. A defeat, a shock defeat, whether in 90 minutes, extra time, penalties against Derby, defeat against City, and the whole mood around things starts to change. But then it would probably make it easier in a term that we can just focus on the Europa League. It's having all those different carrots there at the moment, which makes United's season a little bit more difficult. And with the thin squad that we have, an injury, another injury to Martial, and we're doomed. An injury to someone in that midfield, and we're struggling again. So we do need to keep our key players fit, and that's why I'm really intrigued to see what team Ole Gunnar Solskjaer picks for this game. Bruno Fernandes has been fantastic for us, 3 goals, 2 assists. Will he start in this game? Is it a game that you start him in, hope to get the game won early, and you can take him off after 60 minutes? You'd like to think that's the case, but not necessarily, because Derby County, under the floodlights, they're a championship team, so they're used to a little bit of a scrap. The whole Wayne Rooney factor. It's a weird game. And I don't know why I'm worrying about this one, but I am. Because I've watched Derby a few times this season, and whilst Wayne Rooney has improved their form, they're still there to be got at. They're still there to get goals. And they've still lost a fair few games as well against teams that you think they should be beating. So, yeah, just need to be on it But I don't know what team's going to come out. Are we going to go with Pereira and Lingard and all these guys again? Is Ollie going to give them another opportunity? I think Jesse Lingard came off the bench the other week and he did all right, got an assist. He looked okay. But generally speaking, his performances haven't been great. Andreas Pereira the same. Is he going to give these guys an opportunity again? That's another thing. Can he trust them? Or does he have to go with the likes of Bruno? The likes of Martial if he's fit? The likes of Fred and McTominay? Like, does he have to just play everyone to get through in this game? Or can he trust those fringe players? Calagio's in the house. Mo Wadder's in the house. Samoan 85's in the house. Kartik's in the house as well. Peter says he lives in Australia and it's time for bed. So come on, you can squeeze a little bit more time out. Don't worry. Don't worry. You can chill for a little bit longer. We're just previewing the Derby game. Don't need to go to bed. Come on. Stay with us right here on Adam McKola TV. The preview for the game against Derby as well is coming out on Full Time Devils soon, where we obviously have a bit more of a chat. There's a few more of us, but this is me and you guys having a one-on-one right here. So get your comments and get your likes and get your shares and get your super chats and get your subscriptions on if you're not subscribed to Adam McKola TV yet. And let's get doing this. I'll have my predicted lineup for you very soon. We'll also have my predicted score, obviously. We haven't had the press conference yet from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, so I can't comment on what he's discussed in his press conference, and we don't know if there's any further injuries elsewhere. But at this moment in time, there's no new injury news to the ones we've got. Will Scott McTominay be played? I think this is a game where we see McTominay taken out of the team. Played against Bruges, played against Everton. I think it's time to just, take him out of the team, let him rest again, recuperate, go again at the weekend in a Manchester derby. He'll be well up for that one. The thing with him is whether he plays well or he plays poorly, he's always going to put in 100% effort, be flying into challenges and everything. And sometimes that's not good for you. You know what I mean? If you're carrying a little bit of, or you're injured, or you're a little bit fatigued in terms of your match fitness. So we need to manage the players that are returning as well. We don't want to see any breakdowns. And Scott McTominay is another one of those. Vijay Deep says Axel and Timbo are back. They should get some minutes against Derby. Axel obviously played in the under-23 games in a victory against Stoke, which was good to see. Timbo close to a return as well for Manchester United. Two fantastic young players. Two highly talented players. Injuries have come at the wrong time for them, which is obviously gutting for them. But they need to start taking their opportunities when they do come along, because injuries can't just be used as an excuse and given more opportunity just because you're injured. End of the day, fitness is a part of football, like my old mate Scribs once said. So yeah, I want to see Twanzebe be given a chance and taking it. It's unfortunate for him because recently but when we played Liverpool at home, he was picked in the team, picked to start in that game. Liverpool at home, biggest game of the season, he was picked to start. And you think he comes in there, has a good performance. You never know where he is right now. Gets injured in the warm-up, doesn't quite go to plan. And it's frustrating for him, but hopefully we can start to see more of him. And I would love to see him involved in this game. Martial's goal against Watford isn't the United goal of the month. What? Are you taking the piss? It's goal of the season. James Garner doing well as well. That's good to see. James Garner, Angel Gomez doing well for the under-23s. There's been rumours recently now. I've not read too much into them because I've not heard nothing more than a tweet or two. Seen a tweet or two. I'm not seeing anything concrete coming out. But there's talk that Angel Gomez is close to signing a new deal at Manchester United, which would obviously be great for us. If we can get him tied down to a new deal. Fantastic player, highly talented. Be great to see him involved more towards the back end of the season, between now and then. The pass yesterday for James Garner's goal was sublime. It was a fantastic pass to find James Garner. James Garner's finish wasn't too bad either. Hopefully he can be playing in the first team a little bit more. Kartik says we're winning 4-3 with Igalo scoring 4 and the goal scoring a hat-trick for them. Have you been watching Wayne Rooney this season? Not saying he's not going to score. He's got a few goals. But he very rarely bursts into the box anymore. And I'm looking forward to seeing Wazza. I hope he gets a good reception. I hope if he does, obviously, if we're winning 3-4-0, I wouldn't mind seeing him score. I remember celebrating Van Persie scoring against United when we were 4-0 up against Fenerbahce. So I don't mind if Wazza scores. But his game has changed. I found it quite funny when he had a few good games and Derby were winning. And people were saying, bring him back to United. We should never have let him go. If you've seen him, he plays in midfield. He very rarely runs anymore. He uses his brain. He's just there pulling the strings for Derby County. And he doesn't even run to get involved in celebrations. He's just saving his legs nowadays, which is a smart thing to do. But I don't think he could keep up with the Premier League pace anymore. He's obviously been out at the MLS with DC United. Now, I think the MLS is ever improving. And the quality of football, the quality of coaching and everything's improving in the MLS. But it's still not the Premier League. And whilst the Championship is as maybe quick-paced and as physical and all that as the Premier League, it's not the quality of the Premier League. So Wayne Rooney will stand out there because he's different breed, genius. He's not got the legs anymore, but he's a different breed and he'll be able to still stand out there. And I'm sure he'll probably have a good game. He'll probably look impressive against United in this game because he'll be able to sit there and pull the strings, spring a few passes around, and everyone will be thinking, we should have kept him. I love Wazza, but we shouldn't have kept him. The game is at Derby for those asking. He is wonderful. He is wonderful. I miss Wayne's World, says the Samoan 85. Any more comments on the game, get them in. Any questions ahead of the game, get them in as well as we look ahead towards this one. And the FA Cup is a special one for me. I was watching highlights earlier of United in 99 in the FA Cup final against Newcastle, winning 2-0 with goals from Sheringham and Scholes. Gutted for Roy Keane, seeing him come off injured and knowing he's not playing in the last game in the Champions League final. But that was my 10th birthday. And I remember how the FA Cup used to feel. It used to be special, going to Wembley, the two towers, watching United there. My first memories on a cup final was 94. That's the first one I can really, really remember when United beat Chelsea 4-0. And I remember recording it on VHS and saving it and just watching it over and over again. And then obviously the final on my birthday in 99. Amazing 96 cup final. Obviously Wayne Rooney's FA Cup when Jesse Lingard scored. It's crazy that's the only FA Cup title he had for us. He obviously came a little bit after the 2004 one when Ronaldo won it. And we never won it again after that. We lost on the penalty shootout at Cardiff, Millennium Stadium against Arsenal, which was incredibly one-sided. I don't know how we lost that. The worst 1-0, 0-0. Like, how did we not? I think Van Nistelrooy hit the post. There was a few. Like, it was incredible how we didn't win that game, and we lost it on penalties. I think it was Vieira's last kick for Arsenal, which won it for them from the penalty spot. So my memories of the FA Cup are mixed, but I love the competition. Obviously, as you all know, I'm a Brummie Red from Birmingham, but travelling to all these games and with Villa Park on my doorstep, my dad knew someone that worked there, and we used to always get tickets for the Villa Park games in the United end. And just going to every away day there, the Watford game in the semi-final, the semi-final, the FA round or third round when we came from behind against. I love the fucking FA Cup. I love it. I absolutely adore this competition, and I hope we progress in it. I know people say the cup's disrespected nowadays. I don't think it's actually disrespected, because when you look at it, you think the FA Cup isn't disrespected. It's just that teams have bigger squads nowadays. Back in the day, you'd have a squad of 15, 17, 18 main first team players, and you'd use most of them first team players for every single game, barring injury. And nowadays, teams have squads of 23. Most of the 23 would be considered first team players, like when you look at City, even United, Liverpool, Spurs. Like, when you look at the quality of their benches and things like that now, in comparison to back in the day, they're stronger. So you're able to make 8, 9 changes for an FA Cup game, 6 changes here, 5 changes here. it doesn't necessarily mean you're disrespecting the competition. It just means you're utilising your squad. And I think that's what we need to do against Derby County, is utilise our squad, but also make sure it's strong enough as well. Make sure we're strong enough, because we need to be going through. Busby says, Matic underappreciated. I'm not going to lie, I writ him off earlier in the campaign. I thought he was done and dusted. I still think he'll leave in the summer, and I have no problems with that happening at all. You know, we need to strengthen our midfield. If Matic goes, it's not the end of the world. But his performances recently for Manchester United have been much improved, have been a lot better. We still have to manage him, manage his legs. But when he comes in, he's showing that he's got that experience, he's got that sensibility to his play. He keeps it simple and he protects that back four. And he's not been doing too badly, helping out the team in attack as well, hitting the post against Everton, and going close to scoring. So I think he has shown an improvement in his performance, which has probably been helped by the fact he's not been played a lot before his recent reintroduction to the team. So he's been able to save his legs, but we have to manage him. We have to manage him. That is for sure. Keep your comments coming in. Keep your thoughts coming in. Make sure you're liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing. And if you haven't seen it yesterday, I released the first in a new series on the channel called the Premier League Gazette. Now, it's bombed in views wise, but I know why that is. It's because it's not about Man United only. It's going to be about all the Premier League. And just got to get used to it. There's still going to be your weekly content, the Weekly United, the Manchester United content, transfer news and all that stuff. But I'm starting to branch out a little bit and do a little bit more on the channel. So even if views have to take a little hit for a little bit, we're going to build, loads of little different strands, loads of different series on the channel. Keep the old ones going, the previews, the reviews, the aftermaths, the chats with Dean, straight up, MUFC, straight up the other channel, which the link is in the description. We're going to be doing all that, but we're going to be doing other little bits and bobs as well. So make sure you're keeping it locked. Ross is saying back Ollie, we're backing Ollie all the way. Let's enjoy the rest of the season, man. We're still fighting on a few fronts, so let's enjoy the rest of the season. If we need to think about that at the end of the season, we will. But why ruin the campaign by fretting over question marks that aren't going to be answered yet? We're not going to find out yet, so why fret over it? Let's get behind the boys, get behind the manager, and hope for the fucking best, even if it is maybe not going to happen, or who knows. Team prediction, says Pratic, reminding me to get my team prediction on. And here is my team prediction for this game. I've gone with Romero in goal, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Bailly and Williams. Give Luke Shaw a rest, who showed a return to form recently. Matic and Fred, like I said, take McTominay out of the firing line. I'm sure Ali would want to maybe bring in Andreas Pereira, but he's probably feeling like he can't trust him. And with the likes of Wayne Rooney playing, I think you strengthen it up a little bit in there. Don't give them too much of an easy time, because Wayne Rooney with space is a problem. So Matic and Fred in there. Mata, Bruno, Lingard. The three behind, Igalo up top. I think we should start Bruno. Him and Mata have seemed to struck up a relationship, and they look like they've got a connection, and they're playing good football. Imagine them pulling the strings. Lingard maybe helping out Igalo, coming, spinning in and around him when he's got the ball to his chest, and trying to make something happen there. Lingard played for Derby County on loan. He had a period on loan there, so I'm sure he'll want to go there and maybe score a goal or whatever. But yeah, Mata scored against Derby County the last time he played there in the cup as well, so that's always good. He's got good memories of Pride Park. So that's the team that I'd go with. Resting a few players, the likes of David De Gea, Lindelof coming out of the team, Shaw coming out of the team, McTominay, Martial. If he's got an injury or he's got a hint of an injury like he did before the game against Everton, put Igalo up top. Bruno in behind him should be able to create an opportunity or two for him, or get a goal himself. And I think that's strong enough to get a result there. It's resting players, managing your squad, but also keeping it strong enough. What about Chong? Says facts over feelings. Not for me. Hasn't done enough yet in a United shirt for the first team to be warranting a start in games like this, in my opinion. James also can start, says Pratic. Maybe playing against a championship team, he can find his form again and maybe get a goal and get his confidence back. I don't think he should start this game. Wouldn't be surprised if he did in either of those positions where Mata and Lingard are. You could even see Bruno rested and James come in. Cannonballer says, I hope the low starts. Wan-Bissaka needs a rest sometimes as well. That was very, very true. And it is also a possibility that I haven't ruled out at all. Pogba, possible minutes? I don't think so. I'm going to do a little search on Paul Pogba to see what the latest is on him. I'm trying to keep out of it. I've seen the video where we obviously had returned to Carrington and he was chilling with Bailly and Igalo and all that. Sorry, I was just bringing up a link. And it's looked like he's going to be back from injury very, very soon. So much ads on this fucking website. I'm just going to close it. Can't even read what the article is. The MEN, a once great institution, now a load of shite. So, yeah. Hopefully he's back soon, but I don't think we'll risk him for this game. I don't think we'll rush him back for this game either. I don't want Jesse, Andreas and Matt starting together. Says Karen. Cannonballer says Pogba is trying to get back in time for City, but Probs will be on the bench. It'd be great if he was on the bench. 3-1 for United with Rooney to score, says Samoan 85. Let us know your score predictions for this one. My score prediction is a 2-1 win for Manchester United. That's my predicted 11. It'd be good to see Eric Bailly be given another opportunity. I think Lindelof looked weak against Everton. If we can play Bailly, if he plays well, does he play against City? I'd like to think so. Do you think the relationship between De Gea and Lindelof is causing... What? I don't get that question, Busby. I think it's a bit of a weird one. Are you on about that picture that they took? Is that a joke? Apologies if I didn't get it the first time. Chung is too good for the 23s, but not good enough for the first team. Right now, loan is the best option, says Cannonballer. I think he does need a loan at this moment in time. I think that's a fair evaluation of where he's at. And I think he needs to get a bit more physical. He clearly has quality in terms of and talent and skill, but he's got to apply himself. And I think at this moment in time he hasn't done that in the first team. But like I said, he is a talented player. But not all talented players from the youth team come through and make the grade up in Manchester United's first team. That's an unfortunate way of life, unfortunately. I remember getting attached to the likes of Pepe Rossi, Sylvana Eubanks-Blake, Fraser Campbell, David Petrucci, Adnan Januzaj, even Kiko Makeda, Danny Welbeck. You expect these players to come through and do what they did in the 23s or the reserves as it was back then, but sometimes it doesn't go quite to plan, whether it's because of injuries, bad loan moves or whatever. It doesn't go to plan. Pratik says we have to avoid a replay. There is no chance of a replay in this round of the FA Cup. Replays have been removed, so it'll be settled on the night, whether that's penalties, extra time. In 90 minutes, it has to be settled on the night. So we could be in for a long one at Pride Park, and I wouldn't be surprised to see my predicted scoreline of 2-1 coming after extra time. But I'm going for United to go through. Arsenal, the first team through. I think Liverpool play Chelsea, Reading play Sheffield United today. There's all the other fixtures going on midweek. The reason these fixtures got moved to midweek is because of the fact that the winter break came in. So they dropped that weekend's worth of football and brought the FA Cup into a midweek position. So crammed more games in. Makes sense. Busby's going for a 5-0. Jesus. James Wilson, the biggest flop of them all. So I think it's unfair to say flops. Obviously, he flopped really in terms of playing for Man United. But if you're a professional footballer, you've not flopped. We wouldn't mind being professional footballers, right? That's what you dream of. Of course, Man United is a bigger dream for some of these players, but yeah, he had the talent, just never went to plan. Around the time when Marcus Rashford came in, him and Will Keane were injured. So, could that have been them taking that opportunity and cementing themselves in the first team squad and moving on to develop? It's about your opportunity and getting your chance and taking it at the right time. Ross says he thinks it's going to be 2-1 to Manchester United. There's no replays, just to remind you guys. So if you think it's going to penalties or extra time, let us know as well. Busby says, I'm not exaggerating. Derby are wow shit, bro. I hope you're right, but you could be wrong. You could be wrong. I think this whole Wayne Rooney factor is making me nervous. Realistically, we should go there and hand their arse to them. But, football's not played on paper. And the FA Cup is special for a reason. And Derby, they're in the Championship. They're not League 2 side, you know what I mean? They've got the likes of Wayne Rooney, Martin Warnock, I don't know, what's his name? Waghorn. Tom Lawrence, who used to play for Manchester United, gets a few goals for them, is a threat from free kicks. They've got a few talented players in their squad. Obviously, they had the whole drama where their captain and all that got changed and all that stuff. I have no doubt Wayne Rooney's going to start tomorrow. His move there is a big thing. You hear about the backing from 32 Red and all that, and different sponsors involved in his signing, and so this will be a big deal for them. Him playing against his former club, him playing against the club where he holds a record goal scorer and all that stuff. This will be a big deal. He will start against Man United. Will he score? I wouldn't mind him scoring. I don't think he will, and I hope I've just jinxed it so he does. And United win. I don't want him to score and we go out. That's the worst thing that could happen. I really want United to win the FA Cup. I was gutted when we lost the final against Chelsea. I've seen the chance Rashford had again the other day. Some of them things just sit in your mind. Phil Jones, frustrating. But nevertheless, we got another chance to win it. It could be a strong last 8 this year. When you look at Arsenal are through, one of Liverpool or Chelsea will be there. Leicester are still in the hat. It could be Sheffield United are still. It could be a strong last 8 this year. So it's an interesting FA Cup coming up. Should we take it seriously? Is it our best chance for a trophy? What do you think about that? And are we going through to the last 8? Get your comments in those comments below. De Gea should be careful not to let Rooney dink one in, says Adesh. He loves a little dink, does Wayne Rooney. I think Romero's going to start. Look, it was disappointing to see David De Gea's mistakes, and if it was a Premier League game, he would still be in my starting lineup. But even then, taking him out of the starting lineup and putting Romero in for a game, it might do him well. The thing with his performance against Everton was the mistake came after 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then he was a lot better for the whole game. So it wasn't that bad a performance from him. Overall, it wasn't like he looked shaky from everything that came his way. Cannonball, a nice one for tuning in live, and I'll catch you later, mate. Whether you've been tuning in live or you've watched this after we have been live, because we'll have like 100 people watching now and then like thousands or 2, 3, 4, 5,000 or whatever later on. Thank you for tuning in to Adam McKola TV. Make sure you like and comment and sharing and subscribing. Keep it locked. Get your score predictions in, your predicted 11s. Do you agree with my predicted 11 there? Romero, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Bailly, Williams, Matic, Fred, Mata, Bruno, Lingard and Igalo. I think we should rest Anthony Martial. If he has got that muscle injury, we don't want him to be picking it up or straining it even more. And we've got a derby coming up at the weekend. LGM makes Lingard with a funny face. You have to put Lingard or Andreas in, I think. I think Daniel James has been massively out of form. And while we look at Lingard and Pereira, because of the fact that they've been here for so long, we look at them and think, alright, they should be dropped. But also there has to be a case where you can say that for Daniel James. Now, I think he's performed a little bit better more recently, but he's still not quite there, and I think just taking him out every now and then isn't a bad thing either. If we get and beat Chelsea in the FA Cup, Frank might get a phobia against Ali. He's already got a phobia against Ali. I'd hate to get them in the final, because it'd just be like his one win against Ali becomes in the game that mattered the most, which would be highly, highly frustrating. There's the post anyway, which is great to hear. I've got a delivery coming as well, which will probably come soon while we're on air, seeing as those are the kind of things that happen here on Adam McKola TV. Make sure you keep me liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing. Guys, that is me done for now. My voice is absolutely going. I've been filming a lot in the last couple of days. We obviously did the Premier League Gazette yesterday. We did Weekly United yesterday. Both of those are up right now. I also did the Gazette United, which is the first of a new series as well, on Full-Time Devils. I did the preview for the Derby game with Full-Time Devils earlier as well, which should be up in about half an hour, so make sure you're checking that out. And then I've just done this. We're going to have another video for you tomorrow. Not quite sure what it will be just yet, but I'm trying to keep it rolling with these daily videos and keep this channel popping. And eventually the subs and the views and all that stuff will grow as we continue to bring you more content. And then on Thursday we'll have reaction from the Derby game. Friday we'll have something else, and we'll keep it going. So keep it locked to Adam McKola TV. Make sure you're liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. That right there is my predicted team. That right there